Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. Today is part 1 of chapter 9, Hurling Hate or Healing Hearts. Subtitle, Containing Your Anger. And there's a Bible verse here from Ephesians chapter 4, verses 26 and 27. In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry, and do not give the devil a foothold. All right, let's jump right in and see how much of this we can get done. I wrestled with several plastic grocery bags as my purse swung wildly from my shoulder. I was trying desperately to free up a hand to open the back door that leads from our garage into the kitchen. Tired from a long day of errands and appointments, I just wanted to get into the house, put the groceries away, and then collapse on the couch. As I fumbled with my keys and stepped up onto the landing that leads into the kitchen, I nearly tripped and broke my neck. I also broke out into a horrible rant as I saw the reason for my near trip and fall. Kenna, Mitchell, Spencer, you kids get out here right now and take care of these shoes and boots. I am sick and tired of how you all just toss your shoes here with absolutely no regard for what I've told you. You know your shoes go on the rug. I don't want to ever see this junk lying here again. You hear me? You are all so lazy. Now I said get out here right now. Does this sound familiar? My kids heard me all right. So did half the neighborhood. I have a major pet peeve about the shoes, sports cleats, boots, and flip-flops that collect in our garage. First, I'd prefer that each family member have only a pair or two there. That day, there were about 19, and only 4 were from my husband and me. The other 15 or so were from our 3 darlings. Yes, crunch the numbers. That's 5 pairs each. I also prefer that shoes be lined up neatly in a row on the lovely industrial rug that is strategically placed just to the right of the landing for my clan's convenience. I've even timed out how much longer it takes to actually place their pairs of shoes neatly on the rug instead of kicking them off haphazardly. Just 3 seconds. But my kids couldn't seem to get with the program. It made me angry. This wasn't the only time a domestic dispute broke out. There were other shouting bouts as well. Sometimes they were over issues of outright disobedience when I had specifically instructed a particular child to clean up a mess they had made. Other times it was over an incident, spilled grape juice on the light-colored carpet, too much laundry soap in the new front-loading washing machine, a screen door left open, and now there were mosquitoes in the house. Many normal mishaps of childhood. Although, on the one hand, it felt good to vent my anger, on the other hand, it made me gulp in guilt for barking so angrily at my sweet children. Later, after the shoes were straightened and some even put away, I felt God tap me on the heart, prompting me to apologize to my kids. I fought it for a while, arguing that the kids were the ones who should be apologizing to me. It was then that I felt God clearly say, "Mind your own sin, sweetheart." Ouch. Yes, my kids' disregard of instructions wasn't right. Children should obey their parents. But when they don't, well, I couldn't recall a single verse that then grants parents the right to holler and scream, giving all of the neighbors who were trying to eat their spaghetti supper both dinner and a show. I apologized to my kids that night before they went to bed. I asked them to forgive me for my angry mama mouth. Then, together we strategized about how we could remedy the whole footwear fiasco in the garage. I realized that part of the reason I was always badgering my clan to get with the program was that there was no good program for them to get with in the first place. The industrial rug just wasn't cutting it. So we cut the rug. With a trip to the department store and some nice wire shelves, we found a solution to the footwear conglomeration. We compromised. I didn't get my entire desired neat as a pin plan, but the modified version still worked better than the industrial rug. As a result, I no longer badger my poor kids about their shoes. My vocal cords aren't so sore, and the neighbors can now enjoy their dinner in peace. One spring day, I sat in my backyard with my friend Susie and our kids. While we relaxed in lawn chairs, sipping lemonade, a few of the children played on the swing set. The rest sat at our bright yellow children's picnic table purchased just days earlier. They were happily creating masterpieces on the pages of several coloring books. When it came time for lunch, I helped the children clear their coloring supplies off the table. As I gathered up the crayons and coloring books, I spied a frightful sight. One of Susie's daughters had gone into the house and grabbed permanent markers to color with instead of the crayons. And color with them she did, all over the brand new picnic table. She'd even written her name in her very best 7-year-old penmanship. I was angry that our newly purchased picnic table was now laden with permanent red and purple graffiti. I wanted to raise my voice and shout and scream my displeasure, but I didn't. Instead, I leaned over and spoke gently to my friend's child. "Oh, Kelly, Mrs. Amon wants you to use crayons when you color, not markers. Would you please go put them back in the house? Thank you, honey." My eldest child's jaw dropped when she witnessed my kind and calm reaction. Loud enough for everyone to hear, she said, "Man, it's a good thing it was you, Kelly, and not one of us. Mom would have hollered at us something awful if we'd done that." Ouch. My daughter simply vocalized a truth she'd noticed in my life. I tend to lose my cool with my family, but somehow manage to keep calm when I interact with others. The book of Proverbs describes a woman who is praised not only for what she does, but more importantly, for who she is, specifically how she interacts with people. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. As a mom, there are many things I need to teach my children about the basic tasks and responsibilities of life. How to make their beds, how to unpack the groceries and put them away, how to do laundry without changing all the white underwear to a rainbow Skittle mix. And yes, I need to teach them how to keep their shoes from becoming life-threatening obstacles when they take them off in the garage. But when teaching them these things, do I do it with kindness, or is my tone caustic? Do I open my mouth with wisdom, or do I just open my mouth, spewing out whatever is bubbling up in my angry heart? I faced the music that summer day and owned up to the truth my child pointed out. I tend to extend grace to those outside my family, even complete strangers, while so easily snapping at the people within my home. Yes, there are times I must instruct and correct my kids, yet when I do, I must be conscientious and kind while giving counsel. It's not always easy, but God is always available to help me not to be controlling, complaining, or critical. Perhaps we would all do better to learn to pause before we pounce when interacting with our loved ones, treating them with the respect we tend to give others. Or better yet, to pause, pray, and then not pounce at all. But how do we do that? I have found that one key chunk of scripture helps me to mentally work through the steps of anger and prevents me from doing and saying things I might later regret. In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry, and do not give the devil a foothold. I observed 4 helpful things in this passage when it comes to containing my anger, and we will get into those 4 things tomorrow in part 2. Thank you for joining me for today's video. I hope you've all had a very wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.